When's the last time that you visited Moorish Castle? It's a question I ask myself as I climb the steps to a balcony on the Tower of Homage, the Professor's Finlayson leading me to the site of a recent discovery, uncovered during ongoing refurbishment works throughout the site. The murder hole was the star attraction and the focus of our reporting, but while I was there I couldn't help but ask about everything else I saw going on. It's been over 25 years since I was last here on a school trip. I'm sure I'm not the only one for whom it's been a while, and I'm now looking forward to revisiting this most iconic of our landmarks when it reopens with much more than just a fresh lick of paint.
We hope to do two stories here, tell two stories. One here in the tower itself, which is the story of Muslim Gibraltar, medieval times, and the conflict between Muslims and Christians, and the defence and why this tower was here. It's a long period from 711 to 1462. So, the longest that Gibraltar has been under rule by one particular kind of dynasty, if you like, or series of dynasties, Muslim rule. And the other, down below in the early prison, let's call it that, which was built within the keep, tells the story of the British coming to Gibraltar and what they do in those early stages in the 1700s and 1800s, and how they convert part of what was a castle conveniently into a prison. The high walls, which are designed to keep people out, now were perfectly designed to keep people in.
Up until recently, Moorish Castle housed Gibraltar's civilian prison. There are plans to develop that section in future, although with the prison having moved, it does mean that a balcony that overlooks the area can now be open to the public.
The problem was that this balcony and part of the tower higher up as well directly overlooked the prison, and you can imagine that the problems that the prison officers had in that respect with the inmates and the families of the inmates up here, connecting directly, shall we say, with them, and that may well have been the reason that this was kept closed for a long time.
For now, though, the focus is on the military prison, originally built in the courtyard by the British in the early 19th century. The entire area is being refurbished and will form part of the new visitor experience.
We've worked with the original plans that were submitted at the beginning of the 1800s and then modified until they actually were put into actually bricks and mortar. And so we can work with the original plans, which means that we're not working blindly like you are when you're doing other kinds of archaeology. We've been able to restore a lot of the dungeons to what they were originally like, and keeping as closely as possible to the original designs. But we've learnt a lot from it, because we've learnt of the decisions that were taken to deliberately prevent a lot of light coming into the cells, for example, which is horrendous for us today to think about it. But some of the cells, the ones on the east side of the corridor, those are designed to have ventilation but very little light. And I'm talking of such little light that if you hold your hand in front of your face, you can just about make out the outline, and it would have been almost pitch black. So that was by design and not by accident.
The cruelty of bygone eras is evident in the stories told around the Moorish Castle. Dead kings, black plague, mystery, murderers' bones buried in walls, and a young kestrel who's currently nesting in one of the tower's various pockmarks, souvenirs from the catapults that unsuccessfully besieged Gibraltar's fortress many years ago. It's not all doom and darkness. And as Professor Finlayson reminds us, our castle is something we should all take a little pride in.
Many people don't realise I'm going to be talking about this little plug in Calpe conference, and the question I put there is the biggest tower ever built. People don't realise in the whole of Al-Andalus, the whole territory, Alhambra, all the way to the Pyrenees, this is the biggest tower that was ever built, and we've got it.